Once more, welcome to the 2025 Bristol Sports Hall of Fame induction. At this time, I'd like to direct your attention to the center doors and welcome our 2025 inductees.
Welcome to the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame 2025 induction program celebration. Let's introduce the class of 2025. Andrew Freeman. John Greenwood. Accepting for John is his friend, Willie Rocher. Gretchen Chasen. David Hernandez. Tom DeCow. Ryan Wishnes. Ryan Archibald.
Thank you, and once again, welcome. We'd like to begin by introducing the inductees of the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame who are here with us tonight. And I would ask each inductee, as I say your name, to stand and remain standing and hold your applause until the end. So our inductees that are with us tonight: Bart Beardsley, Tony Carrier, Tammy Chapman, Chris D'Amato, Joe DeFlippi, Gail Erickson, Bob Freemuth, Joanne Galati, Mike Giovinazzo, Mary Ellen Holden, Debbie James, Hal Kilby, Paul LaFleur, Phil Manarino, Chris Michalowski, Dave Mills, Spec Monaco, Tom Moylan, Mark Noon, Jerry O'Brien, Rick O'Brien, Frank Oshenko, Gary Palladino, Pat Parenti, Phil Pirog, Dave Raponi, Bunty Ray, Willie Rochert, Dennis Sigmund, Tamara Stafford Kirk, Bill Sweet, Ed Swickless, Don Titus, Ginny Tereso, Peter Wininger, and Jim Ziogas. Congratulations to all of our inductees. Thank you, and now we ask to direct your attention to the screen and join us in a moment of silence in memory of our deceased inductees who have left us in the past year. Thank you. And now please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now it's my pleasure to introduce the Vice President of the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame, Sarah Larson, for words of welcome.
Good evening, everyone. It is an honor to welcome you to our annual Bristol Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. I would like to start by recognizing a number of dignitaries who we have here with us tonight. State Representative for the 79th District, Mary Fortier. Mayor Ellen Zappo-Sassu. City Councilor for District 2, Peter Kelly. City Councilor for District 3, Mark Dickow. And the wife of Bristol Sports Hall of Fame co-founder John Fortunato, Sharon Fortunato. Bristol Sports Hall of Fame was founded in 1997 to permanently honor, document, and preserve distinctive contributions and achievements to the sports heritage of Bristol. Our organization works year-round to achieve this mission, including documenting Bristol sports achievements at our annual program and on our website, bshof.org, developing leadership skills among high school sports captains through our Leadership Breakfast series, supporting Bristol Scholar athletes by awarding 6 scholarships annually, providing grants to our local community to ensure the sustainability of athletics in Bristol, and of course, hosting our annual induction. As always, the work we do wouldn't be possible without many individuals, including our board of directors and the generous benefactors and sponsors who support our mission. I would like to recognize Nutmeg State Financial Credit Union, who is here with us tonight, and generously sponsored our VIP reception earlier this evening. Let's give them a round of applause. This year, we are inducting an incredible class in front of a sold-out audience. Between them, our 7 inductees have over 100 years of coaching experience, 54 championship titles, a .375 batting average, 7 different sports, and over 70 years as athletic directors. We look forward to honoring their contributions to Bristol's rich sports history and celebrating their achievements tonight. With that, I'll turn it back over to David Greenleaf to announce our first honoree of the evening.
Thank you, Sarah. As many of you are aware, the Bristol Tramps Sports Reunion dinner was held for 50 years, organized by Julie Larice back in 1970. Although that dinner is no longer being held, the Bristol Tramps are still honoring an individual each year with the Julie Larice Award. And so I will direct your attention to the screen for our Julie Larice Award for this evening.
This evening's Julie Larice Bristol Tramps honoree is no stranger to Bristol sports. Reinhard Walker has quite the athletic resume, beginning with the Forestville Little League's Dodgers team, coached by Bob Watson. In 1974, the Dodgers were city champs. In 1976, the All-Star team earned a spot in the Little League World Series, where Reinhard and his teammates placed 3rd in the United States and 5th in the world. While playing Little League in the spring, Reinhard was also playing midget football in the fall. He went on to play baseball in the Pony League divisions, winning multiple championships. A member of Post 2's American Legion baseball team, from 1981 to 83, Reinhard and his teammates were Zone 1 champs in 1982. And in 83, again Zone 1 champions, the team went on to win the state championship and then earn the title of East Region runner-up. On the diamond, as a tri-captain at Bristol Eastern, his team won the Colonial Conference and was the Class L runner-up in 1981. Reinhard wasn't just playing baseball at Bristol Eastern, he was also a 2-year member of the varsity football team. At Union College, in addition to being a 4-year varsity baseball player and co-captain during his senior year, Reinhard was also a 4-year member of the varsity football team. Not a year went by when that team did not receive honors or recognition, and in 1985, Reinhard was honored individually, being named as a Division III second team defense All-American. Reinhard has given back to Bristol's youth and to the CIAC high school programs by coaching Pop Warner football, baseball at McCabe Waters, and AAU baseball. He's also coached freshman football at Bristol Central and JV baseball at Bristol Eastern. Reinhardt is a director of the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame and a beloved and respected math teacher at Bristol Central. The Bristol Tramps are proud to honor Mr. Reinhard Walker with the 2025 Julie Larice Bristol Tramps Award.
Thank you for that flattering introduction, Mary Ellen. I would also like to thank the Bristol Tramps for this award. Julie Larice is a well-recognized name in the sports world in the city of Bristol, in the state of Connecticut, and beyond. He dedicated his life to making sure all kids had an opportunity to participate in sports regardless of their ability. It is an unexpected honor to win this award and to be included with some of the past winners. Growing up and playing sports in Bristol was an unbelievable experience for me, as well as many others. But until I started coaching, I did not realize nor appreciate the dedication, commitment, or sacrifice it took to coach. I would like to thank all my past coaches. I appreciate you. You set a great example. Having said that, there's nothing more rewarding than coaching young players and having a positive impact on them. Seeing former players and listening to them talk about their memories of playing sports in Bristol. I can't leave without thanking my family for their support, especially my wife, Sandra, for allowing me to coach. She still holds down the fort while I spend hours on the ball field every spring. I have great memories of coaching both my sons, Reinhardt and Harrison, and I would like to thank them also. Finally, I'd like to thank the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame for allowing me to be recognized on this night. Congratulations to all the 2025 Hall of Fame inductees. Enjoy your night.
Thank you, Reinhard. Reinhard, would you come forward to receive your plaque? Where is he? Ah, he's over there. And now I'd like to call on Deacon Stanley Petrowski from St. Anthony's Church to give the invocation.
Thank you, Dave. Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, as we gather tonight, we give you thanks for the joy that sports bring to our lives, for the opportunity they have provided over the years to our community. Bless those individuals who are being inducted to the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame. We are especially grateful for how sports have helped to develop them into fine men and women. But most of all, we say thank you for giving young men and women a chance to participate in sports at a young age and develop both physically and mentally with a sense of discipline. May this occasion tonight create unity among us, and may peace and goodwill always be with all who play sports. We now ask that you bless this food we are about to eat. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Members of the Doubletree staff will call on tables individually. We ask that you please remain seated until your table is called, and we will resume the program once the meal is finished. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce you to give greetings from the city of Bristol, the Mayor of Bristol, Mayor Ellen Zappo-Sassu.
Good evening, and on behalf of the Bristol City Council, it's my pleasure to be here tonight to this group and offer city greetings. I think these types of events are important, and as we all like to gather and talk about the people we're honoring, it's also important to remember the cycles of history and the people that we still tell stories about, because that is the foundation of any community. And even tonight, reading the program book of the august group that is going into the induction ceremony tonight, there's so many common themes, and you see words like Edgewood Little League, McCabe Waters Little League, Forceville Little League, midget football, the New Departure sports teams, the West End Athletic Club, Legion, Twilight, the Memorial Boulevard School, which is now something different, Bingham, which is no more, Forceville Boys Club. And then I think about all the names that are intertwined in so many of the stories that we continue to tell. And it's so important to tell those stories to the next generation. So when we're at a Legion game and I'm talking to my sons about who Doc Gilhooly was, and they don't know, but now they do. Or we talk about Bill McCooey or Ralph Papazian, Rex Hamilton, Bill Highland. So many names that are so meaningful and just a small microcosm of what has comprised Bristol sports history. So I encourage all of you to continue to say the names and tell the stories. So on behalf of all of us at City Hall, we're so glad to be here, so glad to see all of you. Special shout out to my St. Paul girl, Gretchen Chason, one girl. The only girl getting inducted tonight. And I do have to ask the selection committee, who thought it was a good idea to fill the room with both Central and Eastern wrestlers? Okay. So, again, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. And now I'd like to introduce the president of the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame, Bob Callett.
Thank you, Dave. What a great crowd. Talking to the staff here tonight, I think this is the biggest crowd they've ever had for a function in this room. So, wonderful crowd. And I just want to remind Bunty Ray one thing. When Bunty was inducted last year, there was only 350 people here, but the wrestlers brought in 365. So, Bunty, your record is gone. And I want to congratulate the class of 2025, a great class, and I also like to congratulate the Julie Larice Award winner, Reinhardt Walker. Again, a great honor. I know Sarah mentioned it, but I can't thank our past inductees enough for not only being here tonight to support the dinner, for taking ads in a booklet, for what they do for the golf tournament. And I think tonight we had a record number of past inductees. I think we had 38 past inductees, so it was a really thank you for your support for everything we do to the past inductees. And I just wanted to mention that our two longest tenure inductees are here tonight, both from the class of 1998, and both sharpshooters. One in basketball and one in pistol shooting. Yay. One is Gary Palladino and the other is Debbie James. So. I'd also like to thank, for an event this big, the DoubleTree. I can't thank the DoubleTree staff enough. How easy they are to work with. So right down from Christine Millay and all the servers. How about giving it a hand to the DoubleTree staff for a great night? As Sarah mentioned earlier, the Hall of Fame is much more than the induction. We put on many programs during the year, and we couldn't do that without a dedicated board of directors, and we certainly have a dedicated board of directors. So at this time, I'd like to ask all the Hall of Fame board of directors, please stand up and be recognized for all you do during the year. But I do have to give special thanks again to our ticket chairman, Pat Parenti, and also my wife, Patty, for helping him at registration. But Pat had a tremendous job to do, so thank you, Pat. Sitting in the back there for all you do. You know, we started this process back in June with the selection committee, and it seems like it's a long ways to go when you're in June and November, but there's a lot of work to be done. And I'm very fortunate to have a co-chairman such as Sarah Larson. So Sarah Larson took over full-time as co-chairman, worked with the inductees on their bios, with the videos and all that you're going to see. So Sarah, thank you for all you do. And finally, I know I thank him every year, but we couldn't get this job done without the man behind the scenes. A number of years ago, John Fortunato and Dave Mills and I went to a United Way event, and they did a video presentation. And we all looked at each other and we said, that's what the Hall of Fame is missing, some type of video thing. So when the event was over, we approached the man that was doing it, Tom Mazzarella, and we said, can we hire you to do that for the Hall of Fame? And he said, no, you can't hire me, but he says, I'll do it for you for free. And Tom has been with us ever since, and he's a director. So Tom, thank you for all you do. Now, earlier this evening, you saw that we lost, or 7 past inductees passed away during the year, including our co-founder, Bob Montgomery. But we also lost a very dear and close friend in Tom Monahan. Tom Monahan played a big role in our induction for, I think, every year except 2, introducing the inductees. And Tom passed away in Florida this past March. So I'd ask you for a moment of silence for Tom Monahan right now. Okay, thank you. And now it's my pleasure to turn the program back over to Dave Greenleaf, who will introduce the inductees. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. And now let's meet the members of the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame class of 2025. Andy Freemuth began his career on the soccer pitch in the Bristol Parks Department program and on the baseball fields of Edgewood Little League. He was an Edgewood Little League All-Star in 1991 and 92 and competed in the City Series for his A's team. Andy played for Bristol's JC Current League team that won 2 state championships and was the championship game MVP in 1995. He was a 3-year starter and 2-time All-CCC South selection while playing soccer at Bristol Central, and as co-captain led the Rams to a state tournament semifinal appearance in his senior year. He was also a 3-year starter and captain his senior year in baseball. He was named All-State in 1998 and was selected to play in the Connecticut All-Stars versus Massachusetts at Fenway Park. He was a member of the Bristol American Legion baseball team that played in the American Legion Baseball Eastern Regionals in 1996, and he helped Post 2 win the Zone 1, the Connecticut State Tournament, and the Eastern Regionals to advance to the American Legion Baseball World Series in 1997, where they won 2 games and finished in the Final Four in the country. Andy went on to play 4 years of baseball at Trinity College, where he was co-captain his senior year. He was a 4-time All-New England Small Conference Athletic Conference performer at shortstop and was selected to multiple Eastern Collegiate Athletic Conference and American Baseball Coaches Association All-New England and All-Region teams. He completed in the NESCAC baseball tournament in each of his 4 years at Trinity, with the team winning the championship in 2000. He twice led the Bantams to the NCAA tournament. He was a career .370 hitter for the Bantams and is in the school's top 5 all-time in career games started, at-bats, runs, hits, doubles, triples, and RBIs. Please welcome Andy Freeman.
Good evening, everyone. I've batted leadoff before, so pretty sure my job is just to get on base here and allow everybody else to drive me in, right? So first I'd like to thank the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame for this incredible honor. I'm very thankful for all of my experiences playing sports in Bristol, and I'm humbled to be included in the Hall of Fame. And thank you for putting on this incredible celebration. I've been living in Philadelphia for the past 20 years now with my wife Kim, my son Luke, and my daughter Cece, who are here with me tonight. And it's been great to come home and see so many people that I haven't seen in such a long time. Second, congratulations to my fellow inductees. It's been fun celebrating with you thus far tonight. Your accomplishments are impressive, and it's been great learning about you and learning about them, and I look forward to the rest of the celebration this evening. I'm sure many of you know that I grew up as a coach's kid, which is, as you could expect, meant that I spent my free time as a kid at any practice, any game, any clinic, any camp, any coaches convention, you name it, I was brought there. So when I think of my own playing career and my time in sports, I think about all the coaches that I've had, and I'm grateful for the time that they gave up in their lives and the effort that they spent with their teams and their players and with me. And like most kids, I grew up playing all sports, and I had some great coaches. Basketball at the boys' club with Coach Ed Phelan. I can still run the spread offense and the 1-2-1-1 diamond press. Middle school hoops with Coach Callett. I'm grateful for him because he allowed me to shoot. There were shooting lessons with my godfather, Greg Ziogas, at either Plainville High School or Plainville Middle School. I'm not exactly sure why I was there, but Greg would always stop by and give me a tip on shooting. There was Park League soccer on Saturdays with Coach Tim Thompson and the Cats Dynasty, golf lessons with Gary Sassu, and a few pro junior tournaments along the way. But baseball was obviously my sport. Starting at age 7 or 8, I found myself annually in the summer and the winter at Bill Holowati's fundamental baseball camp. In those early years, I remember getting hitting sessions from the hit doctor, Ron Jones. I'm not sure if that was a real nickname or just a nickname that my father gave, but you have to admit it's an incredible nickname. I saw Coach Jones tonight. It's great to have you here, Coach. Bob Fiandella gave me a chance to play in the majors at Edgewood Little League at age 9 with the A's. I think I had 2 hits that year. I was scared out of my mind at every single game, but I learned a lot of lessons that I take with me today. In 7th grade, I played at Memorial Boulevard on the baseball team coached by Rick Pragaki. Coach Pragaki had the greatest steal sign of any coach that I ever played for. He would stand in the third base's coach's box, look across the field at you, hold up his clipboard, and point, go. It's great, Coach. I saw you from a distance, so hopefully we can catch up later. My time at Central was spent with Tom Moylan. Brother Moylan is one of the nicest, most positive guys and coaches I've ever been around. He and I had a love-hate relationship with batting practice. He was a lefty thrower, I was a lefty hitter, and he routinely hit me with pitches during batting practice. Although every single day he would try to throw BP to me. I don't know if you remember this, Coach. But you'd eventually give up and either hand it off to Marty Solis or somebody else on the team to throw me BP. So I guess that's maybe why I had some slow starts to the high school season. My time with the American Legion team was obviously very special. We played a lot of games during those summers. And looking back, I was amazed at the amount of time that Jim Ziogas and Gino Gentile spent on the field with us. We were a bunch of ultra-competitive kids from 4 different high schools, so I have to give Coach Zai and Gino all the credit in the world, and many thanks for giving me the opportunity that I needed to play at the next level. That 1997 team was a very special team, probably the greatest team that I ever played on, and after a few beers, we can catch up in the bar later, I have to say it might be the greatest baseball team in the history of Bristol. My time at Trinity was spent with Coach Bill Decker, who's here this evening. It's great to have you here, Coach. I'm forever in debt to Coach Decker for my experience at Trinity on and off the field. After I graduated, I took a year off before law school. I think Coach partially funded that year off out of his own pocket in exchange for my coaching services at his clinics. I needed that, Coach, so thanks for keeping me afloat. And I can't finish up here without mentioning my greatest coach of all time, my dad. He's the guy that I followed around to all the practices, all the clinics, all the camps, all the games. He's the one who threw batting practice to me time after time, after he forced me to take ground balls for 30 minutes and lay down 20 bunts. Thanks, Dad. And thanks to my mom for putting up with the both of us and for always supporting me. And thanks to my brother Matt for coming to all my games, whether it was freezing cold in the spring or deathly hot in the summer. And thanks to all my family and friends who came here tonight. So great to have you. Thanks again to the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame, and looking forward to a great evening.
John Greenleaf led the Cardinals to the McCabe Waters Little League Championship in 1971-72, and that launched a baseball career that took him halfway around the world. A graduate of Emmanuel Lutheran School in Bristol Central, he honed his skills as a member of championship teams in Little League and the Bristol Pony League. In the 1972 City Series, he batted .700 and struck out 27 batters. He played baseball and basketball at Bristol Central and led the Bristol American Legion baseball team to 3 Zone 1 championships. He was a 3-time Zone 1 All-Star and was the leading hitter and MVP of the 1978 American Legion State Tournament. He went on to play 4 years at Concordia College and was recruited to play for the Wembley Baseball Club in Western Australia in 1982. He played and managed in the Western Australia Baseball League for 16 years and was the MVP for the 1983 Wembley Baseball Club and the 1984 Wanneroo Baseball Club. He was the MVP of the Western Australia State Baseball League in 1993. In addition to coaching both Wembley and Wanneroo, he has coached youth basketball and softball in Australia. He was inducted as a life member of the Wembley Athletic Club of West Australia in 2007, and he currently serves as the Senior Events Manager at the RAC Perth Arena in Perth, Western Australia. And it's a long way from Western Australia to here, so we're going to see John via video.
Thank you to the committee of the Bristol Hall of Fame for my induction. It's an absolute honor. In preparation of this speech, I realized how lucky I've been for growing up in Bristol. My summers as a youth were playing baseball at McCabe Waters Little League, playing basketball games at Rockwell Park, later on playing at the beautiful Muzzy Field. And in winter, of course, we all headed down to the Bristol Boys Club to play basketball. I grew up on Leslie Court, which was a neighborhood full of baby boomer kids who loved to play sports. In the neighborhood, there was Mike Pig Petosa, Mark Stark Bajeski, Gary Zeke Bajeski, Chet Dresser, Jim and John Greenleaf, Willie Herm and Carla Rochert, the Castellines, the Beneventos, and the Lodovicos. And all we did during that time was pretty much play sport, day in, day out. Occasionally, though, the Bajeski boys would get their hands on an M80 firecracker, which apparently was like a stick of dynamite, and they'd go over to Pig Petosa's house and blow up trash cans, sometimes his mailbox, which then caused his house once to catch on fire. But being the great neighbors that the Bajeski boys were, they quickly extinguished the fire and moved down to blowing up frozen chickens instead. When I was about 9 years old, Phil Lodovico walked through my backyard, glove in his hand. He goes, "I'm heading down to McCabe Waters Little League to try out. Would you like to come, John?" I went, "Yeah, sure, I'd love to come." So we headed down, and after tryouts, I found out I made the team, and Phil got cut. It was a very long, uncomfortable walk home. But Phil, I'd like to thank you now for getting me involved in organized sports. I lived next to Willie Rochert, who was now a doctor, of course. Willie, when he was studying to go to med school, all he would do was study, hours and hours a day. All I would do next door was play basketball and shoot hoops. At about 7 o'clock each night, I'd knock on his window, spin a basketball on my finger, say, "Come on out, let's play, Will." So he'd come over to my house. He'd beat me like 21-12. He'd go back studying, I'd go back shooting baskets. Next day, same thing, he'd beat me 20-12, 21-12, and it kept going on. He would go study, I would go shoot more hoops. He's now been a retired doctor for 4 years. I'm still working every single day. Man, I do not like that guy. My parents were unbelievable. Evelyn and Jerry Greenleaf. Most of you people in the room probably remember my dad, Mr. Green. He was a disabled American veteran who lost his leg at 20 years of age, but that did not slow that man down. He would drive us everywhere. He loved sports. He loved to take us kids to all the sporting events. Lately, I met up with Willie Rochert, who told me that my dad taught him how to be a parent to a sportsman, which was quite an honor and made me feel quite good. But my dad the only time I heard him complain is when he was pitching batting practice to me, and because of his clunky wooden leg, couldn't get enough speed on the ball to throw it by me anymore. He would go, "Ah, darn leg." That was probably the only time. In our front yard, we had a basket, so we'd shoot baskets all the time. We played a game of horse. He had a pretty good eye, so we had some good battles. But one-on-one, he was quite easy to go by, and I'd usually beat him 21-0 with his old clunky leg. That may sound pretty cold, but I know he's up there laughing at that joke because that was his sense of humor, and I also know that he would be very proud of this evening as well. I'd like to thank my brother Jim for giving me some advice when I was an older teenager, and also for doing my paper route when I had to go to practice and games. I saw Jim about 2 months ago, and he's still complaining how he used to have to do my paperwork. Jim, it's been 55 years, get over it. I currently now have been in Western Australia for 44 years. I had the opportunity to come out here when I was 22 years old and play basketball and baseball. It's been a great time in my life. I have a wonderful wife of 40 years in February. We have one gorgeous daughter, Jamie, a great son-in-law, Josh, and an absolute beautiful corker of an 18-month-old baby boy, Hayes. In closing, I'd like to again thank the committee for my induction. Also, thank you, Bristol, for the great memories that you've given me. Thanks again.
To accept the plaque for John, I'd like to call Willie Rosher. Gretchen Chason was a three-sport athlete in high school and in college, and continued to play softball well into her adult life. She began her career playing softball and basketball at St. Matthew's School, and was a four-year starter in basketball and softball at St. Paul, played 3 years of soccer, and twice earned all Harford County Conference honors. She was also all HCC in her senior year of basketball. She continued to play all three sports at Salve Regina College, and was named to the Salve Regina Women Athlete of the Year in 1986. She went on to play for 10 years on the Connecticut Bombers slow pitch softball team that won Regional B honors in 1992, was second place in the National A tournament in 1995, and were NIT champs and placed 7th in the World Series of slow pitch in 1996. She coached JV soccer, JV basketball, and varsity softball at St. Paul, and led the Falcons to a Northwest Conference title in softball. Please welcome Gretchen Chason.
Good evening. I just want to thank the Bristol Hall of Fame for this honor and congratulate all my fellow inductees. When I was growing up, there wasn't much of organized sports for girls, but that never stopped me. I was always outside finding kids in the neighborhood to play football, street hockey, basketball. If there was no one around, I would just shoot hoops. I couldn't wait until the 6th grade at St. Matthew's School so I could try out for softball and basketball. Once in high school, I played 3 sports and went on to play 3 sports in college. I am not sure I would have went to college. Don't tell my parents. But if I couldn't play sports, I probably wouldn't have went to college. But I graduated with a chemistry degree, and not using it right now, but that's all right. I am so glad that women's sports have involved so much now through the years. Although the one longer here, I want to thank my mom and dad. They were always there for me. They encouraged me. They supported me, even though girls weren't supposed to play sports back then. I want to thank my brother for making me tough, and my sister-in-law for doing all she did to get everybody organized to come tonight, because I want to thank her. Thanks to all my coaches throughout the years. Every one of them taught me something and how to be a better athlete. Thanks to all my players that I coached, because they were awesome. And thanks to all my teammates. I couldn't have done it without them. And I want to thank my family and friends who came out tonight.
David Hernandez grew up in Bristol as a multi-sport athlete, playing Little League and midget football in the early 1970s. He went on to play football, basketball, and baseball at Bristol Central from 1972 to 1975, and he earned 8 varsity letters in an era when the Rams became a powerhouse in all 3 sports. He was twice named All-Conference in football and earned second-team All-State honors in 1974. He scored 670 career points as a 3-year basketball starter and batted .355 and pitched a no-hitter for the baseball team in his senior year. He went on to play college football at UConn and Mattituck Community College. He later managed and coached at the Forestville Little League and the Boys and Girls Club. His Forestville Little League Phillies softball teams were league champs 3 times and City Series champs twice. He coached 4 District 5 championships at both the Little League and Senior League levels, and he has also coached AAU softball and travel basketball at the Boys Club. Please welcome David Hernandez.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Davina. I'm Dave's daughter. On behalf of my dad, just due to some vision and health issues, I'm just going to read his speech. So just going to read my dad's words. Good evening, everybody. My name is David Hernandez. I was born and raised in Bristol, and I've always been proud to call this place my home. I want to first say how honored I am to be inducted into the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame. I would like to start by thanking the entire Hall of Fame committee, and I want to give a very special thank you to Marianne Holden, Hal Kilby, and Bob Callett. Thank you. I also want to thank my lifelong friends who are near and far, many of whom are here with us tonight. Anyone who knows me knows how very special my friends are to me. I also want to thank my former coaches and teammates. I didn't always realize until I was much older the impact that Coach Papazian and all of my fellow coaches had on me, as well as the impacts that my teammates had on me throughout my life. Not only were they my teammates, but they also became my brothers. I also want to give a big thanks to my family, particularly the Garcia and Hernandez family over there. You guys have always been there to support me, whether it was supporting my journey as an athlete or also as a coach. My friends and family are so special to me, and it means the world that they're able to celebrate this achievement with me here tonight. I started playing sports at a very young age. As many of you know, my parents came over from Puerto Rico, a place where sports are very deeply rooted in Puerto Rican culture. But what most people don't know is that we were not a sports family when we came to the States. Sports were not particularly an area of interest for my parents, particularly my dad. My father was a very hard worker. He was drawn to Bristol because of the great schools and was brought here for a job with General Electric. He then went on to own multiple properties in Bristol and Puerto Rico but unfortunately we lost both my dad and my mom within a very short time while my siblings were in our early 20s. My siblings and I used sports as an outlet all throughout our lives. My mother would make a huge pot of rice and beans, which they were talking about. And all my friends would come over. We would play hoops all day and then come and eat rice and beans at night. From when we were kids to teens and when we became young adults, sports kept us off the streets, kept us motivated in school, and eventually ended up allowing us to have opportunities to receive a higher education. I'm emotional like my dad, obviously. While growing up in Bristol, I was always out playing basketball, baseball, football with my siblings and all the guys in the neighborhood. From Memorial Boulevard days to Bristol Central, I continued to play 3 sports throughout my life and then continued to make lifelong friends who had, like I said, had turned into family, all because of playing sports and coaching. I then went on to play college football. I first was at UConn. I left, transferred to Louisville, but ended up getting homesick, coming home, and finishing my career at Mattituck Community College. Nobody really talks about the transition from ending sports and entering the real world. But during this time, I had made the transition from an athlete into a coach. I coached travel basketball throughout the Boys and Girls Club, through the Boys and Girls Club, and I coached my oldest daughter, Crystal, throughout all of her years of Little League, Junior League, Senior League, and then did the same with Davina as she followed a few years after. I even helped lead my youngest daughter, Davina's Big League World Series team to the finals of the Big League World Series in 2006. And this is actually what led to her opportunity to play for Team Puerto Rico, which most people don't realize was through that. But one of my most rewarding coaching experiences of my entire life came when I assisted Ginny Tereso coaching Bristol Central JV softball with my oldest daughter, Crystal's team. Day in and day out, seeing those girls work so hard, the smiles on their faces, seeing them laugh, watching them grow, it was truly one of the best. It was truly even more special that I got to do that with my daughter, one of the best times of my life. And I am so proud to see how far female athletics have come since I started coaching my daughter Crystal in 1988. Even after years worth of health struggles, cancer, and a life-saving transplant, which was 10 years ago to this week, I came out of retirement and continued to coach a college showcase softball team with my daughter, Davina. We traveled all throughout New England and even competed in national tournaments. And we went all year round with 10 or more tournaments in a year. Seeing these girls work so hard and receive scholarships year after year for the work that we put in all year round was incredibly rewarding. It was no longer about me or even my daughters, but it was just about giving back. I am really sorry. I told him I would be able to do it. All of my coaching positions my entire career have been unpaid. I do it because I love to give back. I do it because I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. I appreciate the fact that I am being recognized for all of these accomplishments. And I really, truly appreciate that you're acknowledging the efforts and impact that I have made throughout the youth, teen, and young adult, and the impact that I have made on the youth, teen, and young adults in the Bristol community. I was rushed to the hospital in 2004, the night I was supposed to walk my daughter out for her senior night that night. It was fall, and she was a captain of her soccer team. At that time, we had no idea what the next 20 years would lie ahead. But all we knew was that it was bad. It was really bad. And the next 3 weeks, we spent figuring out that I had stage 4 lymphoma. And the only option at that time was a experimental drug that could potentially keep me alive. We gave it a shot, and well, I'll be turning 70 in a few months. I'm almost done, I promise. We don't always remember the pain or the suffering, but what we do remember, what I do remember, was my buddy, Tony Carrier, who was there to walk me down, my daughter down the aisle. Down on senior night when I wasn't able to be there. He was there for my daughter and he was there for my wife. And again, I don't remember the pain, but I remember the gift cards that Tamara and PT sent to feed our family during those tough times. It's an absolute honor to be surrounded by all of these nominees. I just wanted to end by taking a minute to congratulate all of you on your tremendous accomplishments. It truly is an honor to be from Bristol. I am thrilled to be part of such a legacy. Thank you so much, and thank you for your patience with me.
Tom Dickow has been a coach, an umpire, referee, sports writer, and a mentor to and benefactor of Bristol Athletics over a long career of service to the community. He started his sports career as a manager in basketball, baseball, and soccer at Bristol Eastern. He served as sport publicist and statistician for the Forestville Little League, Bristol Midget Football, the Thomas Monahan League, and the Bristol American Legion baseball program through the 1960s. He started the athletics program at St. Matthew's School, where he coached baseball, basketball, and swimming, and was responsible for the conversion of the school chapel into a basketball court. He went on to coach JV basketball and JV and varsity baseball at St. Paul for more than 15 years. He helped to coach 2 state championship teams in both basketball and baseball. He then turned to officiating and served as an umpire for a number of state, regional, and national tournaments, as well as refereeing and umpiring at the collegiate level. He umpired the New England American Legion Regional Tournament, the Mickey Mantle and Stan Musial National Tournaments. He served as president of the Central Connecticut Board of Approved Umpires for several years. He directed the baseball leagues for the Bristol Parks and Recreation for many years. Through his life, he was involved in several different positions within the education field and served as president of the Greater Hartford Education Association. In his current role as city historian, he has created a series of Bristol historic videos, including the history of Muzzy Field. Please welcome Tom Dickow.
First of all, I'd like to offer my congratulations to all of my fellow inductees of the class of 2025. I've really enjoyed being together with them this evening. I'd like to thank the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame for selecting me for induction into the Hall of Fame. I'd like to thank my family, my extended family, players that are here, coaches that are here, and friends that are here to come and recognize me at this time. I grew up in a family of 3 brothers, and I recognized their athletic abilities quite early. And I wanted to be just like them. They were all 2 or 3 year varsity players, either at Bristol High School or Bristol Eastern High School, excuse me, not Bristol Central. And I wanted to be like them, but that was not to be. And then it's hard to imagine how somebody can change your life's direction without even realizing that they're doing that. And when I was in 8th grade, I had Johnny Floyd for a baseball coach and Catherine Silverio as a math teacher. They both recognized that my talents were not the same as my brother's talents. But they understood that I had a certain amount of intellect and a strong interest in athletics. And Kay's husband, Mrs. Silverio, excuse me, his husband, was becoming president of the Forestville Little League, and she recommended that I become the official scorekeeper of the Forestville Little League. I knew absolutely nothing about scorekeeping. In fact, I didn't know the difference between a ground out and a fielder's choice or who the winning pitcher was in a game. But I did learn rather quickly and became pretty proficient at it. In fact, I became so proficient, I was better at scorekeeping than in Mrs. Silverio's classroom. How could she expect me to do the homework when she has me out in the field scorekeeping and writing up the games afterwards? It was her fault, not mine. As you have seen in the video tonight and what Mr. Greenleaf just read, I've continued along that path in many different ways over the years and been afforded many opportunities. In a Little League, I went from farm team coaching to umpiring, and then it extended out to everything else that you heard about. I've had the opportunity to work and share with great coaches, mentored by them and respected by them. Burr Carlson, Don Perno, Gary Palladino, George Sinnott, Jim Bates, and yes, I would eavesdrop on the conversations of Don Titus, who I consider one of the best baseball coaches in this city, to learn more about baseball. I've had the opportunity, as mentioned, to run the Bristol Park Department Baseball League, which had 3 different leagues simultaneously. That means through St. Paul coaching and other coaching and through the Monaghan League, I probably had the opportunity to work with over 1,000 kids. It's really rewarding to have somebody come up to you 40, 50, 60 years later and say, I remember playing in the league. That was really good. Or somebody that's 50 or more still calling you coach instead of Tom. It's gratifying that you really earn that respect by what you did. I'd like to share 4 short stories with you that nobody else in this room could have ever experienced. The first one is, I coached at several clinics with Jimmy Valvano, who passed away from cancer. I became very good friends with Jim Valvano because when we were coaching, we were the youngest coaches. And all the other coaches at the camp would go out bar hopping at night, where we got the opportunity to sit out in the quadrangle and talk together and make sure the inmates did not escape. We talked about everything. I talked to him about, I was a little progressive in coaching, how I envisioned that the 2-3 zones should change. And he found it really interesting. So one day he was supposed to give a talk on zone defense, and all of a sudden, with no warning, he says, I'm not giving a presentation today. We have a guest presenter. Without any preparation at all, I was talking to 400 kids, college coaches, varsity coaches, and I was a JV coach. I watched Jim Valvano's games after that, and one thing I did notice, he did incorporate some of the movements in his 2-3 zone that we had talked about during that time. I was very proud to know that man because he was much more than a coach. Then I went down to Cherry Hill, New Jersey, to a clinic with Don Titus. And Tom Seaver was the main speaker. And he spoke a lot, and then we got to ask questions. But we weren't finished. So we went up to Tom and said, ask a few more questions. Oh, come on, let's go across the street to the bar. And he spent 2 more hours with us discussing baseball, his career, and techniques in baseball pitching and so forth. And the nice thing is, he picked up the tab at the end. The third story happened at Bristol Central High School. Jack Hines had arranged for a preseason NBA basketball game. And he asked me if I would do the scorekeeping. Of course I would. The coach for the NBA team was Tommy Heinsohn, who was a great Celtic player and eventually an NBA coach. He didn't like my scorekeeping technique. He came up to me and started complaining. He said, no, we don't shoot foul shots now. We have to wait 2 more fouls. I couldn't believe I said it to him. Go sit down and shut up and come back when you know what you're talking about. At that moment, he called me a young punk. By the way, he was right and I was wrong. The next morning, I went to St. Paul to do my usual job of being a guidance counselor, and I got a phone call from the NBA headquarters in Philadelphia. And they told me that I was going to be involved in litigation for falsifying the preseason statistics for the NBA. Then all of a sudden I said to myself, what's this about? And then I finally figured it out and I recognized the voice. It was in the NBA office. Jack Hines had put up some of his cronies to call me that way. And the last thing I'll relate was that I got to go to a coaching clinic at Pleasant Valley in Sutton, Massachusetts. That's a PGA golf course. D. Rowe played with me, Don Pruno played with me, and the pro up there, Andy Lasko, played with me. I was a hacker. I beat them all that day. But after that, I gave up golf because when I started taking my clubs and digging them into the sand traps and throwing them into the water hazards, I figured it was time to give up. I'd like to finish by reading something to you because this is really how I feel. Tonight's award is not about me. It's about what I've been given. And I truly mean that from my heart. On life's journey, I've been blessed with so many amazing opportunities. I look at this with this honor, not about what I've done, but to the contrary. Instead, to the many people, to recognize the many people who have walked along the same path, sharing their lives with me. Some people past, some people present, have enhanced my life in so many ways. I thank the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame, the Bristol community, my family, players, and friends for affording me the opportunity to contribute in many different ways. I will cherish tonight forever, but more so for what I've been given and for the lasting friendships that have been developed. Thank you.
Tom. Congratulations. We'll get to keep that. That's yours. The director of the Gladiators Wrestling Program and longtime Bristol Eastern wrestling coach, Brian Lishnas began his athletic career playing multiple sports at the Forestville Boys Club, Forestville Little League, Bristol Parks and Recreation Programs, and at Northeast Middle School. It was at Bristol Eastern where he settled on wrestling, earning all conference honors as a varsity wrestler. He has been the director of the Gladiator Wrestling Program at the Bristol Boys and Girls Club since 1997, overseeing the year-round development program for wrestlers aged 4 to adult. As head wrestling coach at Bristol Eastern, he compiled a record of 219-41 from 2007 to 2021, including 2 undefeated seasons and a 51-match win streak. He led the Lancers to 9 conference championships, 3 Class L state championships, and a runner-up finish in the 2018 State Open. He was a 3-time Class L Coach of the Year and has been a board member of USA Wrestling Connecticut since 1998. Please welcome Brian Lishnas.
Thank you to the Bristol Sports Hall of Fame. This is quite an honor for a town like Bristol that values sport so much in athletics and sees the value in it. To be recognized by them is just a huge honor. I'm very thankful for that. I want to thank my wife and my son, my wife Jennifer, for putting up with me and all the coaching and all the sharing she has to do of me being a coach. And I've been fortunate with my son. My son caught the bug. He was a great wrestler growing up, wrestled through youth and high school and in college, and now he's coaching with me. So it's come full circle. Not just with him, I'm back at the Gladiators, and the amount of alumni who are coming back and coaching with me and coaching their sons and their daughters has been truly rewarding. My son jokes and will call me Coach Benoit sometimes because John Benoit and guys like Dennis Sigmund have had that pleasure. Now I'm starting to see it, and I'm getting that honor and that privilege to coach with guys that I was there when they started. So it's been just a wonderful experience. Congratulations to all the other members of this class that are going in this year. It's quite a class. I'm very honored to be a part of it. I'm particularly excited to be going in with Brian Archibald, another wrestling person. It's very rewarding looking around and seeing all the faces. I think the wrestling contingent is kind of dominating the room tonight, which I really like a lot. It isn't just Bristol Eastern people that I've been fortunate enough to have a connection with. It's also a lot of the Bristol Central wrestlers. A lot of them came up through the club, wrestling at Gladiators. And there were many times when I was driving kids to tournaments on the weekend, and I'd have a car full of just Bristol Central wrestlers. Just didn't have any Bristol Eastern wrestlers that day. Some of the best wrestlers throughout Central Connecticut can draw a tie to the Bristol Gladiators, which is great. The most highly decorated wrestler at Plainville High School was a Bristol Gladiator. At Farmington High School, he was a Bristol Gladiator. At Terryville High School, another Bristol Gladiator. So we've been trying to make our mark and touch all of Central Connecticut, and I think we've done that. As an athlete, I was a decent athlete. I mean, you heard when they, you have to highlight some of your own stuff growing up. I mean, my claim to fame as a wrestler was all conference, winning the Bristol Central tournament. But as a coach, I feel that's where I've made my bones. And we've done really well. We did really well at Bristol Eastern, really well for the Bristol Gladiators, but I want to make it clear that I'm not up here without an army of support behind me. When you get the great athletes that we had, the great parents and families that we had, all of the coaches that have been a part of this, the administration at Bristol Eastern, the athletic directors, the board of directors for Bristol Gladiators, the staff at the Boys and Girls Club, they're all a huge part of it. No one has the success that we were fortunate enough to have at Bristol Eastern, or the success we're having at Bristol Gladiators, without a boatload of support. I mean, it literally is an army behind us that are helping us to develop this and grow this and really make a name for ourselves. I'm talking to a lot of the wrestling people here tonight on both sides, Central and Eastern, and the rivalry isn't what it used to be. I mean, it's still a rivalry for sure, but these kids are growing up wrestling with each other all the time. They're traveling with each other. We're going to tournaments all over the country, staying in an Airbnb, and it's Central wrestlers, Terryville, Eastern, Plainville, Southington. They're all together. So it's a little bit different. It still exists, but it's not the same. When me and Archie were coaching against each other, that was probably the end of the era of where it was so heated and crazy. The older guys, we're all into it still. We all think it's a huge deal. But, you know, these guys, you know, they're dapping each other up before the match. They dap each other after they're going to like a all-you-can-eat buffet after together. It's just not the same. But it's still really special, you know. Talking to different wrestlers here and people, you know, within our town, we're a sports town for sure. And I think within our town, we consider ourselves a baseball town. We've had some great athletes for basketball, football, all different sports, girls volleyball, the track programs up at Bristol Central. But outside of Bristol, people consider Bristol a wrestling town. They really do. You know, it really doesn't matter if it's Bristol Central walking into a gym, Bristol Eastern walking into a gym, or if it's the Gladiators on the youth level. We're walking in with bodies. And these kids have been well trained, they're tough, they work hard, and they're producing results. There's a saying where you can win the match at weigh-ins. And that's what happens quite a bit with Bristol teams. We walk in and they see the Bristol Eastern uniform, the Bristol Central uniform, the Gladiators, and we've already won the match. You know, they're fearful of us. They respect us, what we've done. And as I said, outside of this town, people look at Bristol and they're like, that's a wrestling community, that's a wrestling town. And so I know I'm up here for coaching, for sure. One thing I talk about with coaching, because I've had people ask me why we've had the success we've had, or why I've had the success I've had as a coach. And there's many different reasons. You know, you work real hard and you need to have technical understanding of your sport and be able to teach it and all that. But to me, what really makes the difference is just my belief in kids and families and people and loving the kids that I coach. My day job, I retired a few years ago. I was a juvenile probation officer. And I've talked about this before. When you're a juvenile probation officer, it's a difficult job. I loved it, so it wasn't as difficult for me. For some reason, I just loved it. It was something that worked for me. But anyways, you're getting these kids put on your caseload for a year and a half, and they've done some really bad things, and your gut is to not like that kid and to be frustrated and like, oh, that kid, he injured someone so severely, robbing the pizza delivery driver and hurting them where they're blind in an eye, something. I'm being flippant about it, I don't mean to be, but there's some really atrocious things, and you want to not like these kids, but you have to supervise them and work with them for a prolonged period of time. So you need to find something to latch onto, something to buy into for this kid. You need to like them. You need to find something. So you need to find their potential. You need to see what they're capable of and find their strengths, find their potential, and really latch onto that and build on it. And I think that is what has helped me the most to be a good coach. Wrestling's different than some of the other sports out there. We really don't make cuts. We don't. Whoever signs up, we're taking. And there's many years, there's 14 weight classes, and you can't fill a couple of those weight classes, so you're looking for anything. You know, you're walking through the halls, you're showing up at lunches, you're going to the weight room, the cafeteria, you're talking to the coaches, you're finding anyone, and you're trying to bring them onto your team. And you need to find something in them. You need to see the potential in them. And often you're seeing potential in the kids that they don't see themselves. But you sell out for it, you believe in it, you try to build on it, you really push them, and you get rewarded. You get rewarded. I mean, I've had many kids come through the program where when they started, there's a couple of them here tonight, when they started, no one saw them doing anything. No one saw them being competitive, no one saw them being solid wrestlers. You know, you tell them to jump rope, and they're not doing it like a boxer with a nice rhythm. It's like kaboom, kaboom, and then it's tough. It's tough to watch. It's tough to deal with. But you know what? You find something in them. Either you see they got a great work ethic, or you see, oh, that kid's pretty strong. You know, he's pretty intelligent. he's listening, she's listening, she's buying into what we're doing. Oh, the dad was an athlete. We can build on that, you know. And so you have that faith and that belief that you're going to pull this kid forward and they're going to help you. And I can say more often than not, I've been rewarded in those situations. There's a few of them here tonight, and they know I love them, they know I have their back, and they have my back, and they're all here to support me, and it means the world to me. It means the world to me. So again, I just want to thank everyone here. I want to thank the Sports Hall of Fame. I want to congratulate the other members of the class. Thank my family, my wife and my son for putting up with all this for all these years. And all of my wrestlers, the families, the Board of Ed, everything. We would not be successful like we've been and like we still are down at the Boys and Girls Club without all you guys. So thank you very much. And like I said, fall in love with potential. Grab it, hold on to it, build on it. So, thank you.
Brian Archibald began to develop his athletic skills at Bingham and Memorial Boulevard schools. He was a four-year player, three-time All-Conference, and captain and All-State in his senior year for the Bristol Central soccer team. As a wrestler, he was All-Conference in 1992, 93, and 94, a three-time Class L place winner and Class L state champion and outstanding wrestler in 1994 when he finished second in the state open. He compiled a career record of 99-12 and led the Rams to two conference championships. In baseball, he earned all-conference recognition as a senior. He played for the top 10 Division II Franklin and Pierce College soccer team and was a four-year starting pitcher and two-time team captain for the baseball team, where he is currently ranked third in school history for the most career complete games pitched. He continued to play baseball for local teams in the Twilight League for 12 more years, leading his teams to 6 regular season and 5 playoff championships, and was the Greater Hartford Twilight Baseball League Pitcher of the Year in 2007 with a record of 8-1. He began his teaching and coaching career at Bristol Central in 1998, serving at various times as a sub-varsity coach in wrestling, boys and girls soccer, baseball, and football. He became the varsity wrestling coach in 2003, and in 12 seasons compiled a record of 181-55 that included 4 CCC South championships, 2 Class L runner-up finishes, an undefeated season in 2008, and 10 individual state champions. He spent 3 years as the athletic coordinator at Bristol Central. He was a founding member of Bike Bristol and organized and led the trail building for the Rockwell Park Bike Trail System. Please welcome Brian Archibald. You gotta talk first, then I'll give it to you.
All right. Davina, better get ready. All right.
Let's go.
All right, so number 7. Last time I was number 7 in the lineup. It's when I said maybe pitching's the way to go. But a good friend of mine recently told me that I was a pretty good closer too. So here we go. I'll try and throw some strikes and get out of here quick. First off, I got it. Yeah, jeez. Hey, thanks to Bob Callett, Sarah Larson, Pat Prenny, Dave Greenleaf, all the Hall of Fame members, and the selection committee for including me in this class of amazing people. Congratulations to the class 2025. It's an honor to be with you. The work and collaboration it takes to hold this type of event, it's not lost on me. This is a big deal. So thank you and appreciate your dedication. I'd like to thank my dear friend Nicole Urso for being my inductee liaison, getting me through this process. I know what this event means to you, your family, and especially your dad. All right.
You got it. Let's go.
Little backstory. My family moved to Bristol in 1982 from Exeter, New Hampshire. My father was starting a new business in Connecticut, and my parents chose Bristol as our new home. My sisters had it tougher than me because they were older and had to deal with leaving their friends, schools, etc. I was about to start kindergarten in a small town of Exeter. The kindergartens didn't get bused to school. So my parents said, hey, you get to ride a bus to school. Sold. Bristol, here we come. My first athletic experience in Bristol was during recess on the playground at Bingham School where teams were selected and the kickball game started. I remember almost whiffing the first time up. And as I ran to first base thinking I was good, Matt Smith fired a ball at my legs. I went down and the whole place yelled, "You're out." And by the whole place, it was the kids. There were no adults around organizing everything, make sure everybody's okay. It was the kids, "You're out." Oh, all right. So, right about then is when I said, okay, defining moment for me. I didn't know the rules. Challenge accepted. Looking back, I'm pretty sure my parents didn't do any kind of research into Bristol sports scene at the time, but it was an amazing time when so many people hanging from the walls here today were hitting their stride as coaches. Dennis Sigmund, Pat Prenny, Tony Carey, Tom Moylan, Phil Pirog, Dave Mills, Tony Floyd, Bill Sweet, Mike Giovinazzo, Hal Kilby, the entire Ziogas family. I guess I'm still naming a few. In Bristol at that time, everybody played sports. Every kid played sports one kind or another. There were opportunities throughout town, including Parks and Rec, everything. The boys clubs, free packed little leagues, youth football. The opportunities go on and on. We grew up when Park Rec was serious. Like, we got after it. Then there was basketball at the boys club. We've heard that 10 times tonight, right? That was legit. We played basketball at the boys club, and it was real. 2 middle schools in town, and the first time I remember the true meaning of a rivalry. Memorial Boulevard versus Northeast, that was real. So I'm going to back up real quick because I'm sure some of you probably caught the basketball thing. Yeah, I played basketball all the way to middle school. I don't know, I liked it. Played hard, it's what we did. But by the time I got to middle school, it became clear that I needed a sport that, I don't know, required and encouraged a little more physical component to it, I guess. To be honest, Much earlier, I had already decided that I was going to wrestle the moment I could because my dad wrestled. He wrestled in Rochester, New York, and he wrestled in Navy. I just thought that would be cool to do what my dad did. I get it. Baseball was my first love, though. I just couldn't get enough. My thirst for baseball was insatiable. And boy, in Bristol, when I moved here, Bristol was king, or baseball was king in Bristol. Little League was great as I got to watch Kevin Browning, DeGowitz, Chris Strahowski, Jerry Hassler, the Pirog boys, and many others play. And they were awesome role models for us younger guys. I was lucky enough to play well into my 30s with so many Bristol greats. Again, many of them are here tonight and also on the wall. The Monahan League Tigers, the Bristol Merchants, the Bristol Scrappers. Some of the best times I remember on the baseball diamond. Thank you to all my teammates and especially to Bunty, who always seemed to call me and say something like, hey, Adam and I are going to play for this team, Adam Peters. Adam and I are going to move this team to Bristol. Thanks for calling, Bunt. I just could never say no. Soccer in Bristol was interesting and wasn't necessarily as popular as such as football-heavy town, but we had some very good players, and the rivalry with Bristol Eastern was awesome. Under the lights twice during the season are all games that will be remembered by all of us soccer players who were lucky enough to experience it. Thanks to Coach Tom Moylan, Henry Martin, Dave Greenleaf for giving me what I needed to play soccer in college. I needed a little bit more.
I gave you that too.
Yeah.
Give me the math help.
Wrestling just wait. Wrestling at BCHS at Central was exciting. I was one of about 15 freshmen that year in 1990. Bob Gravois and Sean Jerry were our captains that year, and thank goodness for Sean, because he was nice. Bob, man, was he scary. But a real tough son of a gun and one weight above me, so I was always terrified Coach would put me in a group with him. I learned as fast as I could so I could wrestle off for varsity. I didn't know the rarity of freshmen wrestling varsity in Bristol at that time. It didn't really happen. I got mono shortly thereafter and had to go home for a month of January. You got to go. When I was cleared, the weight class above me was open and I only had to beat one other kid for the spot. I won the wrestle off, and that was the beginning of the journey that shaped all of my athletics and truly my life. Our coaches instilled hard work, toughness, perseverance, and family. Where'd it go? We took care of each other. We also held each other accountable. The best wrestlers worked the hardest and made sure everyone else followed suit. When other teams were having an easy practice day before a competition, we prided ourselves on the fact that those days were our hardest. So to all my guys, I hope you're not disappointed that these things aren't me. But were instilled in me by my coaches, Dennis Sigmund, Pat Prenny, Mike Daniels, Jerry Daniels, Gary Alford. And please be proud. You were part of that same tradition that made me who I am today. The names I just mentioned, plus people like Bobby DeSantis, Pete Winninger, Tom Moylan, Tony Carrier, Chuck Drury, my college coach Dave Chadbourne, Nick Rubo, Sal Santorino, even Tammy Stafford. That was an evolution of a relationship. They were my go-tos whenever I needed advice, reassurance, and other opportunities to be better for the kids and teams that I was involved with at different times. I'm proud to say that statement is true still this day. Thank you. I have to thank parents, families, and all our wrestlers. You allowed me to be me and backed me when your sons came home tired, hungry, cranky, and sometimes just pissed off at me. Thanks to all the athletes who trusted me and our coaches, sometimes blindly. You're the true reason I'm standing here tonight. Ginny Tressel stood up here a couple years ago and talked about surrounding herself with people that will make you better. I couldn't agree more. And without Mike Mitchell, Matt Boisenalt, Mike Drury, Chris Carrier, Kevin McCormick, John Horan, Ron Wazanko, coaching could have looked very different for me. I'm happy to say today I'm still coaching, following the start of Bike Bristol and the building of the trail system in Rockwell. I've been part of a team of great guys that started a youth race team called Bikers Edge Devo. And the kids are killing it. We currently have one racer from Bristol and looking to expand. It's very difficult to have great success without support of the people you love the most. With that being said, if not for the support of my parents, family, here we go, and the closest friends throughout my life, we don't get to have this party tonight. Sig, thanks for being the person in my life that knew how to encourage, empower, challenge, and sometimes tell me that I was wrong when I needed it the most. For 36 years, you've been one of my first calls for everything in my life. Thanks for always being the guy who answered the call. Jill and Janice, thanks for being great older siblings and putting up with all my nonsense while also being such loving aunts to my boys. My brother Michael, I know he didn't understand a whole lot about all this sports stuff. But you all always understood it was who I am, and that's all you needed. But most importantly, you have supported Lance and Lincoln's athletics and activities without question, as all great uncles do. Thanks to you and Jason. Okay. Oh boy. Mom, you're not only my biggest fan and supporter since like forever. You're simply the best. You've taught me to be that for my boys. I love you very much, and I know Dad's proud tonight. Lance and Lincoln, nothing makes me prouder than being your dad and spectator in your lives. On occasion, some coaching stuff going on. Lance, you've broadened Mom and my lives with willingness to explore new things, watching you ride your bike, ski, and climb the mountains of Colorado. Drive your truck where people probably shouldn't. Work so hard at your academics and country line swing dance. Amazes Mom and I. Never stop dancing. Lincoln's not here tonight. Apparently he was supposed to be here. I see him. Last minute, literally as Coach Sigmund was in the parking lot in Williamsport, Pennsylvania this morning to pick him up, to bring him here to surprise me, he got the call from his coach saying, "Hey man, you can't go. You're starting in the lineup tomorrow." Link, we'll see you in the morning. Watching you play sports, football, softball, baseball, the whole 9 yards, and especially wrestling, fills my heart. Someone once said that the only man in the world that wants you to be better than him is your father. It's true. 100 high school wins. Got it. And like Coach Sig said, at this point, 5 more college wrestling wins than I ever had. You make me a winner. You two are the proudest accomplishment in my life. Keep up the hard work, continued success will follow. Always be the guy who answers the call. My wife, Kathy, when you were the trainer and the guys always wanted to go see you to escape practice, I was assistant at the time, maybe even a volunteer. I may have sent them knowing that I could go and retrieve them. Just saying. Thanks for always understanding me, what makes me tick. Thanks for never making me make up a story about going grocery shopping on a Sunday morning so that I can get into a baseball game and get the appearance so that I could play in the playoffs. Where is he? He's here somewhere. You know who you are. Thanks for explaining to your parents, Gene and Jeff, who are the best in-laws and grandparents anyone could ask for, explaining to them why we're going to be late to Christmas, we're going to be late to this, we're late to that, because I had a wrestling tournament, or I had a baseball game on a Sunday, or a bike race to go to for a whole bunch of other people's children. Gene and Jeff, thanks for understanding. Thanks for knowing that there's no way I'll miss one of my boys' activities, even if it means driving 6 hours with a possibility of 30 seconds on the map. You get it. Oh, thanks for understanding that I'm probably gonna be gone 9 weekends next year coaching the mountain bike races. But thanks for thinking it's cool. I love you very much, and thank you. In conclusion, for real, I promise, clearly I'm not here tonight because I did any of this on my own. The people before me, with me, and that got on board made this happen. So, surround yourself with people who make you better. Be the one who answers the call. And most importantly, there are a lot of Archies, as my friends say. But my favorite is all in Archie. If you're gonna do something, then be all in. Thanks. Be safe. Enjoy the rest of your night. And congratulations, everybody.
Okay, before we close, a couple of quick things here. First of all, I already did it by accident, but we're going to unveil the sign for the class of 2025. You know, Tom Monahan always has somebody else do that for him. Thank you all for coming. Join us next year, the same Friday night before Thanksgiving, as we welcome the class of 2026. Good night.
This is Bristol Health Cares. Special thanks to Nutmeg TV. It's a nonprofit organization. An organization that's going through some difficult times right now and needs your support. Many of you out there have cut the cable, as I have cut the cable. And a lot of the funding that took place for nonprofit stations like Nutmeg TV throughout the state of Connecticut, as people transition from cable TV to the other methods of getting their content, the funding has gone down and down and down. And so programs like this, like you're seeing today, and the programs that you watch on Nutmeg TV, may not be there in the future if we don't all rally behind them and help them with our support to the extent that we can. So have a wonderful day, and until the next time, this is Kurt Barwis, President and CEO of Bristol Health, signing off.
Hey there, Dr. Rich from Nutmeg TV. Convert your old tapes, slides, films, and photos to digital or DVD. Makes a great gift from Santa for as low as $9.99. Call 860-321-7405 or visit nutmegtv.com. Mention promo code Santa and get 20% off.